Hey guys, I am back and in full effect. How y'all been? It is March. Happy New Year. Cause I mean, let's face it, I haven't recorded since last year, so it's my first time being able to say Happy New Year to you guys. So happy 2023. Welcome to Simmons Life Special, where we have fun over here. We talk about lifestyle, we have story times, and we talk about all things makeup from the Christian perspective and all things fashion as well. We like to do Sunday fashion for the church girlies out there, or just for the girlies that, have to dress up for work daily, business attire, whatever. Because sometimes they can kind of coincide with each other. Nevertheless, I miss you guys. It has been a long time. I've had so many different things come at me like at once. And just know when you are on your street, when you are right where God intends for you to be as far as ministry wise, just know that the enemy is going to pull out every stop. And when I speak of the enemy, I'm talking about the devil himself. He will bring out every stop that he possibly can, because his number one job is to stop God's agenda. He does not want ministry word to get out. He does not want, the people that God have placed on earth for me to be able to minister to, or, that would hear me. Because there's a lot of, face it, there's a lot of people, that could minister to you. But I just know that God has assigned me to certain people. And so I have to do my job and I have to do my part in that. And yes, and just know that I am completely ready and focused on doing what I am called to do and what I'm supposed to be doing. With that being said, Simmons Life Special, you know how we do. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. That friend tell their coworker, that coworker tell their cousin, that cousin tell their mom, that mom tell her friend. Like, just spread the word, get the word out about Simmons Life Special, because I promise you, we're doing some big things over here today. So I thought, I'm like, I can't just come back and then be like, oh, let's go get ready with me or whatever. So I thought, that I would come back with the story time. Obviously, I'm just starting off in this world. And so yeah, I just want to do what the people are receiving. And yeah, story time seems to be kind of that for a second, right? So I thought today's story time would be a good one. It is the real life story of how my sister and I, my full blood sister, same mama, same daddy, parents been married for 44 years, we're in two different places, almost at the same exact time, and we both almost died, literally, in different places at the same time. And it wasn't like we were together, got in an accident together, none of that. I was at church and she was driving somewhere. So yeah, and then I'll just kind of let you know at the end, kind of when I started to seek the Lord on, just like, why, Lord? Like, that was just crazy. And then some of the things that the Lord shared with me when I did that. So let's get into this story. Oh, first, okay, I'm sorry. First, if you're wondering, my hair, it is Kiss Love. I have been loving Kiss Love hair. every wig that they've sent me has been super full, super, like, the density is completely perfect. And at this point, they have a sale where it's like $30 off. So, Kiss Love, y'all better get at me about a sponsorship, because your girl has been ordering only from Kiss Love, and I told them that I would let my YouTube family, Facebook family, you know, all my families know about their hair, because I am literally loving it. So this is a kinky curly unit. It was obviously just like it came in the natural black color. And so I just got this creative idea where I was like, I kind of just want like a little ombre, but I don't want it, you know, too far up. I just kind of want it like on the ends, you know, like that whole it's grown out type look, but it's still there. Yeah, so I colored it myself, and I'm actually proud of myself. I did not even bleach it, y'all. I did not bleach it. And if you want to know what I did, let me know in the comments, and I will tell you how I got it this color. But I'm so proud of myself. Like, I feel like I did a really good job, because y'all know I'm not a hairstylist. I am not that girl, right? I love all things makeup and hair, but I'm just not that good with hair. My daughter is the one that installed it. And then I got it with the little curly baby hair. And in all honesty, if y'all know, comment below like what I should do with the curly baby hairs, because I really didn't know what to do. It's like, why could you just leave them alone and kind of make them messy or whatever, look a messy curly? But I don't know. I don't know. I you know. So this is the curly baby curly hair is a new thing to me. So I was like, I don't really know what to do, but I'm kind of feeling the curly baby hair. So y'all comment down below and help me out. Help your girl out. Okay. With that being said, I will do another separate video on my everyday look, because I have pretty much completely changed it from, I did a get ready with me a couple months ago with my everyday look. Then it is completely changed. It's way more simple, and I'm loving it. Like, I'm loving it. Okay. Anyways, so back to our story. This was the year 2015. It was the end of 2015. It was November. I apologize. I think it was like the end of October. And so woke up that morning. It was a regular morning. At that time, I was working full time at our local hospital here. I had an extremely demanding job at the time. I worked for a PHO, and if anybody knows what a PHO is, it is basically the middleman between the insurance company and the physicians. So be it a hospital physician or a doctor's office, you know, primary care physician, whatever the case may be. We are basically the middleman, right? They do so much more at PHOs, but that's kind of like the main thing. And so my job title was provider relations specialist, and I did a lot of different things. I had my hands in a lot of different things, but I did re-credentialing for physicians. We had a physician referral line where we just referred patients to help them find primary care physician. I helped with the hiring process for the hospital, because most times if they applied to the hospital, then they had a space on their application where they can click if they wanted to be a part of the PHO. And I'll say 98% of physicians that apply to hospital are going to check they want to be a part of the PHO. Because especially when you first get in, you're not going to want to do everything that you're required to do to start getting paid, right? So I would have to make sure the physicians were set up. I used to go to a meeting every month where they went over all the physicians that were being hired, blah, 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 blah. It was a lot, right? So my plate was completely full at work. And my plate was completely full at home because at the time I had 2 2-year-olds. Well, let me see. They may not. No, I take that back. I had 2 3-year-olds. And I think my baby was like 8 or 9 months. So no, I don't think the boys were 3 yet. So I think they were 2.5. And then my baby was like 9 or 10 months. Okay, so imagine working full time and then coming home and being a full time. And I was married to my ex at the time, so being a full time wife, a full time mommy, like it was just a lot on my plate at the time. And so every year, a lady that goes to our church, she is an excellent nurse, but every year she would host her, and then she had a board of people that would do what we call a cancer awareness concert. And so she would have famous gospel artists come in and do a concert, but it was to raise awareness for cancer. So it would be for cancer survivors. At the end, they always do like a slideshow for people that have, we like to say, won their battle with cancer. And that's via through the grave, but we still know that that's a win over here in Christendom, right? That's probably not even the word, I just made that up. But anyways, we know that that's a win. So we like to say, you know, for the people that had won their battle with cancer, we do a slideshow at the end, you know, just to remember them and remembrance of them. And like I said, they do a lot of cancer awareness, what to look for, you know, to make sure you get your screenings all the time. They have nurses that come through and talk, and doctors that come through and talk. They have patients that have gone through chemo and radiation. Like it is an excellent thing that she puts on every year, right? And so that year in particular, I was she does like a community choir, and it's just a choir full of people from all walks of life, right? So it doesn't matter whatever church you go to, whatever race you are. It like, excuse me, when we say community choir, it's like just an array of everybody, right? And so the choir stand is usually completely full of people. And then they have, you know, like a famous gospel artist come in, and they usually have like just local people do background vocals for whatever gospel famous gospel singer that they have come in. And so I usually am one of the background vocalists. And this year in particular was no different. I was one of the background vocalists. But she does have our local, so at our church, our praise team to open up the concert. We do that every year. So this year was no different. We were at the church. At the time, my children's father, or my ex, made t-shirts, and so they would usually contract him to do the t-shirts. I'm sorry, I have peppermint in my mouth, I apologize, but they would contract him to do the t-shirts for anyone who wanted to purchase one, right? And so that's what the choir usually wore. So, you know, they were completely uniformed, and then just whoever else wanted to purchase a cancer awareness t-shirt, you could do that as well. And those proceeds went towards, you know, cancer treatments and different things like that. So, he would be contracted to do the t-shirts. And so we needed to get up to the church because he was bringing the shirts so that people can start purchasing their shirts while they were at the church for the rehearsal. They usually try to have a couple rehearsals with the community choir beforehand. And so we needed to be at the church so that he can get those t-shirts out and sold. And then I had a rehearsal with my local praise team. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think we were rehearsing background vocals for the gospel artist that was coming in as well. Nevertheless, the day was pretty normal. Like I said, I got up regular. I didn't feel any kind of way. That was different. I was exhausted, but that had become my norm. I was completely exhausted. And then I do need to say this. I had been experiencing my menstruation. So at that point, I was on like my 5th week of bleeding. Literally, I had been menstruating for 5 weeks straight. So that obviously added to my exhaustion. And then at the time, I was just completely neglecting myself, right? I was not taking iron like I should, because I think I need to say this as well. I am extremely anemic, and so I have to take iron regularly. But I just was neglecting myself because, moms, we just don't think about ourselves first. We always think about our kids. And I was no different. It just was all about my children, their dad at the time, whatever. So I do have to say that I was completely neglecting myself. Nevertheless, woke up that day. Like I said, I was exhausted, but that had really become the norm for me. I was just always exhausted. And so we had gotten to the church, but I think I ended up dropping him off, and I was going to go grab our boys something to eat. And then I think I needed to run to Walmart or something like that. And so I dropped him off at the church, and then he took 2 of our children. So he took the oldest and the baby. And then I took the middle one. He is, to this very day, a complete mama's boy. And he didn't let me breathe without him. And I physically drove to Walmart, and then I drove to get them something to eat. Then I drove back to the church. And I'm saying that because it's significant for what happened next. Okay. So get to the church. I help him get the t-shirts out to the ones that were leaving the church from their community choir rehearsal. And stopped helping him, went into the church for our praise team rehearsal. And again, like I said, I felt normal for where I was at the time, right? So I walk in the church, I get in the pulpit, and our musician, so our normal our normal musician that plays for us wasn't playing for us for that particular event. I think he had to be out of town or something. So the guys that they had contracted to play for the community choir and the famous gospel artist that was coming in just played for us too, for our praise team. So we most certainly needed to, practice with him for a minute, because every musician is different, so it was vital that we, rehearse with him. Now I'm gonna say this really quick. I am usually the one to give the notes. So in the choir, on the praise team, whatever it may be, I'm usually the one that is giving the notes. So we started to go over this song, and I remember saying, no, we're not in the right key. We're not in the right key that we normally start in. So then I remember singing the key, and then I remember him starting to play. I remember the praise team looking at me as if to say, is this right now? So I think I said yes. And then they said that I started, so that, okay, I'm gonna go there. So that was the end of my memory. They said that I said, yes, it sounds like it's in the right key. So then we started to sing, and I have no memory after that. Zero memory. Now we're gonna bounce to my sister before I say what happened. Now my sister, it was a regular day for her as well. At the time, that praise team, she did not sing in. So, and then she didn't really sing in the community choir either. So there was like no reason for her to be at the church or be at any of those rehearsals. And then we had a state. So I've told you guys about my organization, so on and so forth. So our organization, our state, had a state meeting on that Saturday. And so my sister and her best friend, her best friend's name is Audrey. She's like a little sister to me. Anyway, my sister and her best friend were going to drive to the state meeting. And it was young people's night, because the state meeting is usually a week long, and then Saturday is always for the young people. And so at that time, and a lot of times the state meetings are on the east side of our state. So I think I told you guys I live in Michigan, so it was on the Detroit side. So my sister and her best friend were normal day, you know, we're getting up to go, and their plans were to go to the state meeting. And my brother and his wife and their children were going to go as well, because at the time he was on the board for the young people's, for our state. So there's like a chairman, a first vice chairman, and a second vice chairman. At the time, he was the second vice chairman. Anyway, so he had left a little bit earlier. He, his wife, and then the children that they had at the time, they had left a little bit earlier to get there, because he needed to be there a little bit earlier. And then my sister and her best friend were getting ready like normal, got ready, got in the car to leave. Okay. They ended up leaving my mom's house, or my parents' house, I apologize. And they were down the street just getting ready to merge onto the highway. There's a light that stops you before you merge on. And at that light, for some reason, she picked up her phone. And when she picked up her phone, she hit the Facebook app on her phone. So Facebook came right up. And when the Facebook app came up, she was in Facebook. The very first status that she seen said, "Please pray for Ariana," my last name. She's non-responsive right now. She's non-responsive right now. Okay, it's literally the first thing she's seen. Now, she wasn't even friends with the person that posted this status on Facebook, but because that person tagged my name in it, so the way that they put it on Facebook, you guys know how Facebook works. So it was like, "Please pray for," they tagged my name, Ariana, blah, blah, blah. She's non-responsive right now. So the way my sister was able to see it, because they tagged my name, and obviously we're friends on Facebook. Okay. We'll go back to me. Now, like I said, the last thing I remember was saying yes, and then we started singing. Now, the account I'm going to give you is the account that I was given by everyone that was there. And there were a few community choir members that were just kind of lingering around as well. We're sitting around and talking, whatever. So I was told that we started to sing, and then I started saying, no, 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 that's not right. No, 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 really fast. And they said they started to laugh at me at first because they thought I was playing with them, right? And then they said, all of a sudden, and so we stand behind, obviously mics set into a mic stand that's pretty tall, right? Usually we take the mics out of the mic stand and then sing that way. But it was rehearsal, so I think we all just kind of had our mics. I know I had my mic still in the mic stand, just singing that way. And so they said that I was holding on to the mic stand, and then like all my body weight fell forward. Like I fell forward, and it literally made a smacking sound. And I started to have a seizure. Well, I was having a seizure, because I started having a seizure when I was saying no, no, no. Now, remember at the beginning I told you guys that there was a nurse that went to our church, and she's the one that, kind of started this and so on and so forth. She was at that rehearsal. And the only thing I can say is I thank you, God, that she was at that rehearsal, because things could have went a completely different way had she not been there. She's a nurse. She knows what to do. So one of the men in the group, and coincidentally, he's a really big guy, very strong. He tried to pry the mic stand out of my hand, but because I was seizing so hard, he couldn't get it out of my hand. And they didn't want me to hit my head on it or accidentally bite it or anything. So that's why he was trying to pry it out of my hands. So the nurse that was at the church just instantly went into nurse mode. She told everybody to get away from me. She got on her knees and she got down there with me. She started to check for my pulse and check for my breathing. There was neither. So she tried to turn me, because I was face down. She tried to turn me over to my side. So they turned me over to my side, and I still was not breathing. So she said she tried to turn me another way, the opposite way. So I went from one side, and she tried to change me to my other side. I still was not responsive. At this time, one of those lingering community choir members posted something on Facebook. She wasn't the only one. Several people started to post on Facebook, please pray for Ariana. Please pray for Ariana. She's not breathing. Please pray for Ariana. She's not breathing. So my ex, he was in the hallway with our children, but he started to hear the commotion. He thought he heard my name, so he ran in there, and then he seen that it was me. And so of course he starts to freak out, but the nurse is like, look at her purse and see what's in her purse, see if she has any kind of medication that would, anything. And while somebody's on 911 telling the 911 dispatcher what is going on, somebody else is calling my parents at the same time, because like I told you guys in my first video, my dad is the pastor there. So that somebody started to call, and my mom's the first lady, obviously. So somebody started to call my parents to let them know what was going on. They rushed up there. In the meantime, she's just trying to get me to breathe. She's trying to get me to respond. So then she said she turned me one more way. And when she did, I did. And I started to breathe. But before that, she said to me out loud, Ariana, please don't do this to me. She was just screaming, Jesus, like, please don't do this to me. And she said when she turned me that last way, I took that really big breath and I started to breathe. But at that time, I was still out of it. I didn't even know I was in the world at the time, honestly. The paramedics get there and they said the paramedics tried to put like one of those braces on my neck, and I kept shaking it off and saying, no, it feels weird, get it off of me. And they kept saying, well, honey, we need to put it on you, you know, because we don't know if you have any neck injury. Like, we don't know what kind of injuries you have from, you know, seizing so hard or falling. Like, we don't know. So we need to put this on you. And so they said my dad started whispering to me like, sweetheart, just let them do. But I don't remember any of that. They said my dad started whispering. Well, my dad told me this. He started whispering to me, sweetheart, please just let them do what they need to do. And then he just kept trying to get me to come to. Like, sweetheart, this is your daddy. Ariana, this is your daddy. Baby girl, this is your daddy. Honey, this is your daddy. And my memory doesn't come back until I was in the hospital. That's when I just kind of came back to, and where I started to remember things, is when I was in the hospital. So once I came to and I was coherent and able to talk, my mom said, both my parents were there. They said, I need you to promise me that you'll not get too excited and that you will, you know, just be calm. And now I'm like, okay, what you saying that I'm already, because I really don't know what just happened to me, but now you're going to tell me something else. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to, you know. At that time is when they told me that my sister, so remember I started the story with my sister. When she logged onto Facebook, the first thing she seen was, pray for Ariana. She's non-responsive. And my sister started to have a panic attack. And in that, she got into the worst car accident ever. Completely totaled my mom's car. Her airbag came out. Her best friend's airbag came out. They both deployed, I'll say. They both deployed. And thankfully so, because they would have been really, really, really badly, you know, messed up had those not been there. She couldn't get out of the car because now her panic attack is getting even worse, because now she's just had this horrible accident. She tries to get out of the car. Her best friend tries to get out of the car, but they can't see, because if you've ever had an airbag deployed in your face, then you know that it has like this white powdery substance that I would assume it is to help it be, you know, dry enough or have enough grip to it. I would assume that's why, you know, like sometimes, or like gymnasts, when they do like gymnastics and then they always put their hands in that powder and then they start doing so they can get a better grip. I would assume that that's why that powdery substance is on the airbags, but nevertheless, I could be completely wrong. And if I am, just help me out very nicely, might I add, in the comments below. But yeah, so that substance had went into their eyes, and they could not see at all. So they both tried to get out of the car. They both ended up getting out, thank God, and they were like, screaming at the top of their lungs. And my sister is actually almost losing her mind because she doesn't know what's wrong with me and what's going on with me. And that's how she got into the accident to begin with. So my parents let me know that she was gonna be okay. But I was at one hospital and she was at the other. Both hospital campuses in our local town, but I was at one campus and she was at another campus, which was just a couple miles away. And so that, I don't know, it still messed me up because I needed to talk to her, right? And vice versa, she needed to talk to me. We needed to hear each other's voice. So after the fact, I'm going through, the soreness of it all. She's going through the soreness of it all. But I'm just like, what in the world happened? Like, why? Never had a seizure in my life. Actually, my sister that got into the car accident is the one that used to have seizures when she was little. She used to have seizures, and she used to take seizure medication for years after, because when she was young, she used to have seizures. I never had anything like that. And then this is just juice. But yeah, I had never had anything like that happen. And so mentally, I'm just like, what in the entire world? So the benefit of where I was working at the time, I was able to just call a neurologist's office and get right in. Which I'm grateful to God for, because had I not, I would have had to wait a couple months to get into a neurologist. But because I'd worked with one and I knew this one personally through work, he was able to get me right in. And so I went and I did the whole brain test, where they have to put all those things all over your head, everywhere, and they look at your brain activity. And you have to, you sit in this chair and they make you completely relax for 2 hours while they just watch your brain activity. So I think after 20 minutes, I ended up falling asleep. Which was, good, because in all honesty, that was the only way I was going to be able to relax, because otherwise I'm like, what? Relax, what does that feel like? What is that, right? So anyways, did the test, got the results back, and thank God there was no more seizure activity on my brain or anything. So what he told me was, he said, you have the perfect storm. He said, you were stressed to the millionth power. Your cycle had been going for so long, so your body was depleted. Your hemoglobin was extremely low. And exhaustion. So that combination wrapped together presented the perfect storm, i.e. my seizure. First seizure. So at the time I was 35 years old. So I'm like, okay, so what do? I have to work, have to be a mommy. I have to, what do you do, And so I struggled with that for a while, you know. Thank God my sister ended up being okay. She didn't have any broken bones. She had a lot of, you know, bruises and bumps and bruises, I'll say, but no broken bones, thank God. And the same for her best friend. But it just weighed on me because I'm like, why would that happen? Like me and her, like what? So in prayer, just praying about it because it still weighed heavy on me. I was scared to do anything because I'm like, I don't know if that's going to make me, or if that was the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, like, there's just so many things that go through your brain and through your head. You're just like, you know, Lord, what in the world, right? So I've been praying about it, and the Lord just talked to me, just like I'm talking to you right now. And he just spoke plain as day. And I won't tell you everything he said, but it just boils down to the enemy literally went to the Lord. And interesting enough, he asked if he could try my father. Now, anybody that knows my dad knows that my dad, there's not too many things that would ever shake his foundation, period, right? He has the strongest roots in God and holiness and all things Jesus. Like, when I see him, he's literally like, in my eyes, he's like Jesus's BFF, literally. Like, they like this, okay? So the enemy was trying to attack my father. So the best way to attack my father is through his family. Anybody that knows my dad knows that his family is absolutely everything. And that is the one thing that you mess with my family, that's hard for me to try to, you know what I mean, like shake off or whatever. But in this case, it was just like, if I can take out both of his girls at one time, the devil is thinking like, jackpot, right? He like, oh yeah, that'll destroy him. And in retrospect, it would have. It really would have. But God, who is merciful, God who is amazing, God who is literally everything, said, it's not unto death. It's not unto death. They're not going to die. You might try it. They're not going to die. And so that gave me so much peace, because then it made sense in my mind. You know, it's like, okay, devil, I see you trying. You really trying it, right? And you really want my dad real bad, big bad, right? But you a lie, and you lied again. So needless to say, after the fact, I did end up having to have surgery, and it ended up being female surgery, which would stop my bleeding. And it wasn't a hysterectomy or anything, thank God. But I did end up having to have surgery probably about 3 months after that. I was off work for a very long time because my doctor took me off work. In fact, when I went to see my primary care physician, you guys, when she walked in there and seen me, she was like, can I hug you? And I was like, yeah. She literally hugged me and did not want to let me go. She said, when I seen the chart from, you know, the hospital, she said, I was in my mind like, she could have died so easily from that. She could be dead right now. And she just kept staring at me, shaking her head like, you could be like literally gone right now. That's how close, you know? And that's so crazy. But I'm so grateful to God for sparing my life. I just know that wasn't my time. And I'm grateful for that. So, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more of me, just hit that subscribe button. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a coworker, that coworker tell their cousin, that cousin tell their mother, that mother. Just get the word out about Simmons Life Special. We are back in effect, and we doing it over here. Okay? Okay. Come holler at your girl. Please come holler at your girl. Thank you for watching today. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hanging out with your girl for a few. Love you guys.